Hey friends, I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to the show. Tonight, we're going to be seeing, we're going to be testing, we're going to be reviewing, we're going to be talking about 33,000 kV motors and 36,000 kV motors. That's right. 1S 702 36,000s versus 802 33,000s. The most powerful tiny whoop motors in the world. 1S at least. I have flown a bunch of batteries now on these during the 12-hour stream, and then I think I flew them both on Monday night stream as well. So I'm starting to kind of figure out the differences between the two of them, but I did want to have like a specific stream where this was like the main topic, and we flew a bunch of batteries on each. Now that the motors have now that I've started to put a bunch of batteries through these, the motors are starting to get worked in, the props are starting to get worked in, and we're starting to see that I need to make some subtle changes to the tune. With motors that are this powerful, the response time that the mechanical system, battery, motor, propeller, are able to produce will basically make an existing PID tune for 30,000 or 32,000 kV motors overactive, because the more powerful motors, so the PIDs are based on timing. The more aggressive you make your PID values, the quicker the error correction loop, the PID loop, is going to attack any issues that are basically the rig coming off of set point. And so when you put a more powerful motor on, that also shortens up that response time. So by putting on a more powerful motor, you are basically raising your PIDs, making the PID values more aggressive. And if you already had your tune somewhere close to the limit of what was possible, you are going to have to back that tune off a little bit. We don't really see this happen all that much when you're going from like 25,000 to 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I started to see it happen a little bit up at 32,000 kV, and now so most of my builds have been tuned like to that limit of 32,000 kV motors. And so now it makes total sense that, and so when I first put these on and the motors were absolutely perfectly fresh and I put on brand new propellers to both rigs, it made sense that I didn't have to retune, because I went from beat up motors and props at 30 or 32,000 kV up to very clean motors and props at 33 and 36,000. So it made sense that I was able to get away with it for a few batteries, but as we start to work things in, as some more vibrations start to show up from crashing, we're going to need to pull the PIDs down. I did that on the 36,000 kV 702 rig towards the end of Monday's stream. I did not do that on the EX802 33,000 kV rig. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to show you what to look out for tonight, how to kind of diagnose that. We will go in and we will add some additional filtering to show you that sometimes filtering is not the answer and doesn't really accomplish anything. And then we will end up pulling the P and D gains down on this rig to get it under control. I guess there's a chance that adding some extra filtering will help, but it won't. So, yeah. Matter of fact, sometimes with tiny whoops, with really lightweight, really wacky kind of builds, removing filtering, moving the filter sliders up can help. So maybe we'll try that. More often than not, it doesn't, but every once in a while it does. Mainly because by pushing the filter sliders up, you're removing latency from the system. And these guys are, like, everything happens so fast on these. All the vibrations are happening up at the higher frequencies. So sometimes getting some of that latency out will actually help these. You can very easily over-filter these really high-power tiny whoops. So, yeah, that's sort of the plan for tonight. This is a Q&A stream, so load the chat up with any questions that you've got, and we'll talk about them. Happy New Year, friends. It's Wednesday, January 3rd. I hope your 2024 is off to a good start. Mine has been. I've been relaxing. I was the 12-hour stream kicked my ass, but it was super fun, and it was a blast to get to hang out with you guys. And then we rolled right into a giveaway stream, so there's been no rest for the wicked. So yesterday I just relaxed. I played a bunch of DayZ. I just laid around on the couch. I meant to get a bunch of work done today, but Teddy Spaghetti. So you ever go to a new haircut place, or a new person cuts your hair, or you try something different and you tell them hey, I want to try this different thing, and then you walk out of there and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh yeah, Teddy Spaghetti now knows that feeling. Teddy Spaghetti got to is getting to experience a uniquely human situation there. We just didn't know that we needed to be brushing him, and his hair got pretty long towards the end of the year last year, and his hair on his belly started to get like a little bit matted. Like there were a couple little knots in there. And as soon as we saw that, as soon as we noticed that, we made the haircut appointment. But it was right on top of the vacation and Christmas and all this stuff. So it was another couple of weeks before we could get him in. And by the time we got him in there, they called us and they were like, hey, his hair is a little bit too matted for us to kind of deal with, so we're going to have to shave him down. We'll leave his face alone, but we're going to have to shave him high and tight on the rest of his body. And, like, he does not look like the same dog. He does not. He looks ridiculous. I can't stop. Like when when I just picture what he looks like, I just can't. I can't stop laughing. It's so embarrassing that we put like a sweater on him. And he's running around. He's running around wearing this ridiculous sweater right now, which is like kind of adorable. But you'll see him in a little bit. It's pretty fucking funny. It's pretty funny, man. And like. The sweater that he's wearing is kind of acting like a thunder jacket. So like he's like really calm now. It's just super funny. It's just really, really funny, man. I can't help it. Like I don't feel bad at all. Oh Jesus. It's really something else, man. Hold on. Let me get a I'm gonna when I fly, I'll go hunt them down with the whoops and give you a live look. But I'm loading up iCloud right now. I took a couple pictures. I took a couple pictures of him at the dog park the other day. Oh boy, it's something else, man. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Photos, and here we go. So, hold on. There's his face. Look at him. He looks a different color, man. He looks like white now. He used to be like blonde and black, and now he's like white. Look how skinny he looks. We get to this dog park and there's one other person, and of course it's another schnauzer with like big, beautiful, long hair. There he is. There's this other schnauzer. This black one with like flowing locks. There's Teddy Spaghetti. Like, I got a bad haircut. Help me. They left his eyebrows and his little snout like full length too, so he looks just even more insane. So, yeah, there's that. Oh God! Look at him! Look at this! Look at this short little. Yo, this guy was crazy. This is a crazy little schnauzer here. This little buddy. Oh, look at him, man! Look at that hair. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is what you want right here. You want this. This is what you want. Not that. This. That's mean. That's too mean. I don't want to. No, he's okay. He's Oh boy, yeah, it's a real scene over here. It's a real scene over here. Man, I cannot stop laughing. And this little sweater that he's wearing is just hysterical. It's got a little hood, so you could put the hood up over his head and it goes over his eyes, and he's just like like you can't see. What are you doing? So yeah, that's been and like I don't know. I feel like maybe he's embarrassed because like he's been like all over me. Like I had these big plans today. This is where the story started. I had big plans today. I wanted to get a bunch of stuff done. I wanted to get everything shipped out from the 12-hour stream. I got none of it done because I took him to the vet for a quick little thing that is gross and you guys don't want to hear about. And then I got back and I ate something and he was like leaning all up on me, all snuggly and warm. And I was like, and I got done eating. I was like, I can just like relax for a minute, and I fell asleep. He was just all on top of me, and he was all warm. And I had the blanket on, and I fell asleep. And then Azalea woke me up, and I was up for a little bit. And then he was all over me again, and the same thing happened again. He got on me, and I was watching a little bit of Top Gear, and I just fell right back to sleep again. So today's been just a complete wasted day. But there's tonight. I'll get some shit done. I always get stuff. During the day, I have a tendency to do like family stuff and chores around the house, and then at night, after streams, I tend to get stuff done down here in the basement. So I'll get a bunch of stuff done tonight. But yeah, that's been my 2024. It's been great. I can't believe how short his hair is. Oh boy, it is what it is though. Bob Bruce is first in the chat. Kevin Sumner was next. Troy Prelog, Rite 9, Kevin the Alien, Hapsty, Frank Nicholas, Northern Tier FPV, Riot 9, Hockey Rounds, Rock Crawler, Fluoxethine, Riot 9 again, Flush FPV, David Ciotti is here. What's up, Dad? Hockey Rounds, Bo Weber, Anonymous, Brandon Woodford, Gert Jan X, Douglas Otwell, Ethan W, Jay Spin, Matt Norton, Feigning Goat, Gert Jan X again, 661 FPV, C Bagsy, Safe Zone FPV, Mr. Dud, Kevin Vaca, Almar FPV, CMYK, Right 9 again, Feigning Goat, Brandon's Baked Beans, FPV Greybush, Matt Norton, Almac again, Feigning Goat again. I think I got everybody. Another Truck and FPV channel is here. Brent Anderson is here as well. McMucus, Jay Gunn, Z-Bear, Just in Time, and Donnie G, and Matty O. What's up, everybody? If I didn't call your name, sucks to be you! Sorry. I'll get you next time, I promise. Yeah. Q&A live stream. 702 versus 802. 36,000, 33,000 kV testing. That's really it. Those are the two big things that I want to do here today. In flying and talking about this stuff, we'll have plenty to chit-chat about. But yeah, ask any questions you've got. When you've got a good question, or just, it doesn't have to be a good question, it just has to be a question, tag me. Type CiottiFPV into your chat comment, and it'll light up an orange like this. These are the comments that I read. These are the comments that I don't read. Let you guys have your privacy in chat, just in case you want to talk shit. Rock Crawler says, hi all, and CiottiFPV. Rite 9 says, CiottiFPV in orange. Example, how has nobody done that yet? Brandon Woodford says, what's up, everyone in Ciotti? Gert Jan says, best wishes, mate. Make it a good 2024. Yeah, man. We'll make it a good 2024 together. Hell yeah. Scott FPV says, what's up, Ciotti and gang? Safe Zone says, hello, sir. Kevin Sumner says, where's your In the World soundbite? Elgato fucked up the software on the Stream Deck 6 months ago, and it no longer works as the one main thing that the Stream Decks were originally created to be, which was soundboards. So yeah, they don't work as soundboards anymore. If I wanted to play, I mean, I guess I can just, yeah, I mean, I can just leave them open in a tab and just hit play. That's always an option. I don't even know where even are my sounds. I in theory I put them on the internal drive. Stream audio. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Oh wait, no. Oh, that's the oh, this is the one with all of them. Oh! Uh-oh. Here it is. So yeah, tonight we're going to be testing the Tiny Whoop motors with the most power
in the world.
There you go. Rite 9 says, you push the filter sliders in my heart. Kevin Vaca says, is the Hummingbird V3 ELRS BNF an okay whoop for an experienced 5-inch pilot's first whoop? I think so. I mean, it depends. If you're one of us lunatics that are... Hey, shirt of the day, by the way, available over on Teespring, which is linked on CiottiFPV.com. It depends, Keith. If you are like me and you are completely and utterly obsessed with having the absolute best gear, then you're going to want to do the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop setup. These ones. If you are okay, if you are a normal human being that is okay with having gear that is like 9.5 out of 10, then absolutely. The Hummingbird V3 with a motor swap, the Newbie Drone 0702 29,000 kV motors, is a hell of a tiny whoop. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's going to be sold to you by a company in California rather than on the other side of the globe. And yeah, no complaints from me whatsoever. If you want that extra 5% of performance, the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop builds are going to give you slightly better video quality, slightly less weight, little bit more power, and more power, but also at the same time as that, more availability of motors. The Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop uses the regular motor connectors, so you can get, 40 different motor options between Weebleed and Tiny Whoop and Beta FPV and everybody else that makes little tiny motors. All that being said, there's only like 4 or 5 motors that you should be getting. Because you can just motor limit them down. If they're too high, if 32,000 kV is too high, you just motor limit it down in Betaflight, and it's as if you've bought 28,000 or 26,000 or 30,000, whatever you want. So yeah, there are definitely some benefits from going with Newbie Drone, but you're going to sacrifice a little bit of performance and a little bit of image quality. All that being said, I'm super blown away by my Hummingbird V3. It flies great. It's a little bit heavier too. The Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop is ever so slightly lighter. It's about a gram lighter, I think. So yeah, I'll put it this way: for something, well, you're gonna have to do a little bit of soldering. You got to get them onto BT 2.0. That's a yeah. If you're gonna fly hard, if you're just gonna cruise around, you can get away with PH 2.0. But if you want to use, if you want like a fully acrobatic experience doing the stuff that you see me do here on the live streams when I fly, you got to go over to BT 2.0. So you got to do a little bit of soldering, but it's very straightforward. Just a different motor lead. So yeah, that's kind of the situation there. Nothing wrong with the Hummingbird V3. I'm actually really impressed by it. The AIO is extremely light. And it's fantastic that Newbie Drone has the 0702 29,000 kV motors available with the specific smaller plugs that Newbie Drone uses, so you can just plug and play. But there are a couple of sacrifices with that rig. So I don't think you can go wrong with either. The ultimate build is fairly straightforward. You're going to buy a Mobula 6 ELRS. You're going to swap the frame, the motors, the battery plug, and that's pretty much it. So it's not like it's not like the Newbie Drone rig is going to be any easier of a build. It's just more available, and yeah, you're getting it from California rather than China. Can't go wrong with either, though. They both fly phenomenal, and they are two of the best flying Tiny Whoop setups ever. So yeah, it's a good time to be diving into Tiny Whoops. CMYK says, yo, what's up, Gangly Gang, and CiottiFPV. Kevin Sumner says, come on, bring Teddy down and show off his new haircut. Feigning Goat says, we have to see Teddy. All right, let me go get him. Hold on. Denzel the Terrible says, good evening, CiottiFPV and friends. Matt Norton says, he looks like an old man now. He does look very... That was something that I think Maggie said. Like, he looks so old now. See, in my case, says, whoa, 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 napping is not a waste of the day. That's exactly what we should be doing. Yeah, it's true. Now's the time, too. ZBear99 says, hey, just in time says, have you thought of doing the Moblite 7 with the Walksnail because then you would eliminate the weight of the fractal frame? I sort of have, yeah, when the Moblite first came out, I was kind of interested in it. But it uses a carbon fiber frame, so I'm not interested in it because any carbon fiber frame is going to be too hard on the motors, basically. The other big problem with the Moblite is that it uses the diamond AIO, which is a nightmare. So yeah, the Moblite is not really something that I'm all that interested in. Also, it's a 75, which is needlessly big. Really, like 65 is... 65 is where it's at for anybody that doesn't know what the Moblite is. Yeah. So it's a super interesting build. And I think we all learned some stuff from it, but yeah, there are some kind of sort of deal breakers. I've always been interested in this camera mount. So yeah, there's a chance that I might try to do something with this camera mount. Oh wait, no, is it not? I'm sorry, I misspoke. It does not have the the carbon fiber brace. I'm thinking of, I don't know what the hell I'm thinking of. But yeah, my main complaint about this is that it uses the diamond board. It almost looks like you don't have to use that board though. For some reason I thought that this had the camera where the diamond board is. Have you guys seen this camera mount somewhere? I need to try this camera mount, yo. Although this camera mount is probably for whatever the hell this specific camera is. Interesting. I want to run this camera mount on a 65. It's going to be the wrong... It's going to be the wrong length? What? It glows in the dark? Oh, I'm down now. What? I would never buy this rig because the AIO that it comes with is completely worthless. But I want this camera mount. I also want to know what this camera is. It looks like a Runcam Nano, doesn't it? It is. That is a Runcam Nano. I can tell by the holes in the corners. Damn. I wish I could get a hold of this camera mount, but for the Walksnail HD camera. That would be interesting. Damn, wow, I don't know why are these screws not screwed in? What is the deal with this? Why are they... Why? Man, this thing would be fucking nuts with the EX 0802 33,000 kV motors. I mean, it wouldn't fly because the diamond would shit its pants from so much electrical noise and powerful motors. But I am now officially very curious about this build with a decent AIO. I completely missed the boat on this. And this looks to be just a regular old Mobula 7 V4 frame. So I need to try to find the Moblite 7 camera mount. Oh! Oh! And just like that. Wow. Ooh, there it is on Yegi. Yegi being a like Thingiverse. They pull from Thingiverse. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. 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 How does this thing work? It loops around the front. Where does it get held? Oh, I see. I see. I see. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in with that. I am down with that. What's this one? Okay. I think these are the same thing. Well, shit, man. I completely missed the potential magic of this camera mount. Okay, nothing works. Yep, there it goes. Oh, fail. What's that one? What's that? Wow. Yegi, you're falling on your face here. I'm just gonna order this. Just order one in red from GetFPV. Screw it. Oh god, look at all that uptilt though. I need to be able to run the uptilt really, really, really low. But this is great. The fact that it would appear that this exists on a Moblite 6 is pretty amazing. Damn. Wow. I missed the boat on that one. That's not great. But hey, sometimes the boat leaves without you. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna get it both in red and green, just in case there's something different about it in one of the colors. Plus, you know, how could you not want multiple colors of stuff? Cool. Good looking out, friends. And now I'm all like, what other camera mounts am I not seeing? Oh, I think the red one, you kind of see it here. I think the red one is set up for more up tilt. This little area here looks like it's shorter on the red one. So it's good that I'm going to get both. All right. Dude, good looking out. Good call. Jesus. Hey, my little website is CiottiFPV.com. And it has all the different ways that you can support me. And it sure does mean a lot. This is a fully crowdfunded operation here. This way, whenever I review stuff, I'm not going to like say nice things about it because I'm relying on that company to send me more stuff. If it sucks, I tell you it sucks. If it's great, I tell you it's great. You guys allow that to happen, and that's pretty cool. Here's my streaming schedule, a link to YouTube. Patreon, as it says here, helps me out the most, and you actually get the most benefit from Patreon. You're going to get access to a YouTube playlist, a private playlist with like sketchy flying that I don't want to be public, half-done edits, Patreon-only live streams that we've done in the past. There's a whole bunch of really cool technical articles on the Patreon page itself under the Tech Talk category. You're going to get a couple of different Facebook groups, one where you can sell stuff to a trusted group, another one where you can just kind of hang out. You're going to get full Discord access to all the beautiful people in the chat, and there's some cool stuff going on over there like the Stick End Fund where you can rent a box with all of the stick ends out to try them rather than just looking at a picture and guessing if you might like them. So yeah, lots of good stuff going on over on Patreon. You can join for as little as 7.5 cents per hour of live streaming content that I do here. You can also think of it as 10 cents a day. It's $3 a month to get in. If you want to jump in on some giveaways, though, that I do the first Monday of every month, I just did them 2 days ago. The $5 and up tiers will enter you to win 1 or 3 giveaways. It's all detailed over there on the Patreon channel. Go check it out. And yeah, sure does mean a lot. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. I also have a little Etsy store where you can buy yourself something nice, as well as a Teespring shop. Get some cool shirts. Over on Fiverr, we can work together. Get you flying better, tuning better, building better. I've been doing this for about 8 years. And I'm certain that I can help you go from having a year and 6 months worth of knowledge to 2 to 3 years worth of knowledge in like a half an hour or an hour long session. It's just, you know, like we all develop questions that we can't really find a straight good answer to. And I love that I've been through that path down that path for so many years. And I can help you with that. So come at me with a whole bunch of questions, or you can kind of let me drive and I'll walk you through some flight instruction, walk you through how to tune, walk you through what your next build might be. Make sure you stop buying ESCs that catch on fire and lose you the entire rig and or the time that it took you to build it and whatever the ESC costs. For the price of an ESC, you can spend a half an hour on the phone with me, and I'll tell you the stuff to stay away from, and I'll tell you the really good stuff. it'll probably pay for itself. So yeah, we'd love to do that with each and every one of you. There's a PayPal link here if you want to do a super chat to support me directly, but you don't want YouTube to take 30%. This is your button. And then I've got a whole bunch of affiliate links. At this point, it's 2024. Every single website pretty much has an affiliate program. If you're not using my affiliate links when you're doing an order on the internet, use someone else's. It helps us out a ton. It is free money, and it allows us to keep making content for you to watch for free on eBay. On eBay, great. On YouTube. I have affiliate links for Weebleed FPV, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, Brain 3D, HD Zero, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. And down the bottom here, there's some other fun stuff that you might get a giggle out of. That's how you support me, my friends. It means a lot. I appreciate it greatly. Let's keep doing this forever, damn it. No, we got that. Z-Bear says, hey, just in time. We got that. Keith Vaca with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Keith. No comment. Just wanted to support the insanity. Thank you, dude. Very, very cool. Right9 says, watch some of your VR Gran Turismo 7. It looks amazing. What complaints, if any? That's a good question, actually. That's a really good question. What complaints? So my parents got me PSVR 2, which is the PlayStation 5 VR headset setup for Christmas, and I'd already been playing Gran Turismo 7, and I have a little sim rig set up, and good lord, it is just absolutely insane. The biggest thing for me, the biggest improvement for me is the three-dimensionality of it, coming from playing race cars in real life to playing race cars in video games. One of the biggest things that I lost is the depth perception to judge braking distances. You can make an argument that that's a good thing because it makes you work harder in the sim, and you basically need to pick braking markers more accurately, and you need to remember them and pay more attention to them, which is what you want to do in the real world anyway. But once you've gone full speed into a corner a couple thousand times at various different speeds with various different radiuses of the corners, over years and years and years of doing that, you develop a really good ability to feel the speed that you're traveling, know the weight of the car that you're in, know the braking capabilities of the car that you're in, and pretty accurately judge that braking distance to get the thing hauled down in time for the corner. And so, yeah, one of the big challenges for me in the sim has been that. But it has forced me to find braking markers. Basically, as you approach the corner, you pick the third seam in the pavement after the curbing begins, and you slam on the anchors there, and you see if that gets you slowed down in time. If you overslow for the corner, you push the braking marker forward a little bit. If you go into the corner too hot, you pull the braking marker back, right? And so for every single corner on every single racetrack, and to some extent every single different car that you're driving, because they all have slightly different braking performance, you go through that kind of exercise, and it's really good practice to do that, like I said, but it's difficult. And so in VR, since it's fully three-dimensional, it's drawing one in the right eye, one in the left eye, it's made braking so much easier and so much more consistent for me. This is me stalling to try to find anything that I don't like about it. I can't think of anything. I can't think of a single complaint about PSVR 2. It is just mind-blowingly good. Like, it's just the fact that it's 3 dimensions is insane. I guess my complaint would be the only complaint that I would have is that the optics are just not completely perfect. Like, so it does eye tracking. It's got little cameras that look at your pupils. So when you move your eyes around to look at the different parts of the screen, it sees that and it draws whatever you're looking directly at in the most detail, and then it softens up everything around that to save processor, right? Because it has to do the PS5 is doing double duty. It's drawing one image for the right, one image for the left, right? So it's literally working twice as hard from that standpoint. And then of course it's managing like your head movement and turning your head and drawing all that shit, right? So it's doing a ton of work. And the optics in the goggles are just not completely clear top to bottom. Like there is kind of a sweet spot. Like you put the goggles on, you can adjust it. You can adjust like where the goggles sit on the back of your head to change the way that the optics sit. And so after you've done that a bunch of times, like you tend to have like your eyes tend to settle in like a spot, like an orientation, right? So like I'm mimicking that right now. Like my eye line is basically right here. So when I put the headset on, I just adjust it so that my normal eye line is perfectly crisp. The only complaint I can possibly think of is that when I shift my eyes down, just the optics of the goggles are not perfectly clean. So even though it eye tracks and I can see, I have to so for example, when I want to look down at the gauges and I want to see the speedometer in like perfect three-dimensional beautiful quality, if I just shift my eyes down, it's enough to where I can read the speed and the RPM, and like so like in a racing setting it's totally fine. But like if I want this, a part of the VR thing has been like just this incredibly immersive experience of like just losing yourself, and my brain sometimes just forgetting that I'm in a simulator. Like it's that good. It's wild. And when I shift my eyes down and it's not perfectly clear, that is a moment where I lose that immersion. I'm learning to just look down. I'm learning to just leave my natural eye line where I've adjusted the goggles to be absolutely perfectly crisp, and then I just tilt my head down to look at the gauges and then back up. But we teach ourselves in the real world to not do that. Like you got a big heavy helmet on, you want to kind of keep your head straight. You have a tendency to it's one of the things that we used to teach. Like you would want to like, yeah, you don't want to move your head around. You want your head to be in the exact same spot, and then you want to move your eyes around. One of the reasons is that when you start moving your head around, like especially in autocross, we try to get like inches from the cones, and we call autocross a game of inches at the higher levels. And like if you move your head, like specifically when you crank the car over and you start dealing with like 1+ lateral G-force, it'll kind of pull your head to the side. Well, if you're on a path to be like a fraction of an inch off the side of this cone, and you're lining that up off of the right front corner of your car, if you move your head like this, the right front corner of your car has now moved, and you will hit the cone. So we learn to keep our head absolutely welded in place and to move our eyes around so that our eyes are in the exact same location, so that when we send the cone perfectly down the side of the car and it lines up with the seam of the hood and the fender, that we don't hit that cone. We wobble that cone rather than knocking that cone over and ruining the run. So it's a little bit of like unlearning, not just having my head welded in place, you know, being willing to kind of move my head around a little bit. So yeah, I guess that would be the only real complaint, is just that the optic for my eyeballs or whatever, like the optics just aren't completely perfect top to bottom. They are beautiful, like dead center though. Like I would say like this much of my field of view is perfectly crisp. But then like the headliner of the car, the side view mirrors, and then the gauges are just out of that incredibly crisp area. So I just have to, yeah, I'm just learning to move my head. I mean, that's a good thing anyway, right? We're getting a little bit of exercise. We're moving around. The whole point of VR is to, not the whole point, but one of the cool things about VR is that it gets you moving. It gets you, you know, standing up, playing video games, moving your arms around, moving your head around, shit like that. So, but yeah, other than that, it's phenomenal. It really is. And from what I'm told, this is absolutely as good as it gets until you get up to like $1,000 like professional grade headsets. So yeah, it's a hell of a technological feat that you can buy from Best Buy or Target. Crazy stuff, man. Really, really, really impressive stuff. What's this charger doing? Hold on. Oh, it's storage charged all these batteries. God damn it. Hold on. I gotta crank this charger up now. 0.9 volts. This is the second time I've done this in a row. And the really annoying thing is I had a bunch of these batteries charged, and this pulled them down to storage voltage. That was kind of stupid. Alright. Now I'm going to really have to stall because we can't fly because I don't have any batteries that are charged all the way up at the moment. Keith Vaca, thanks again for the $10 super chat, my friend. Okay, so the other thing, anybody who's seen, I've only done one live stream of me playing Gran Turismo 7 in VR. It's very challenging for me to stream while doing it because I have no way of seeing the chat. So if I continue to do it, I'm either gonna figure out a way to get my laptop to read the chat out loud. The problem with that is gonna be I'm wearing headphones and I'm probably not gonna be able to hear it. So it feels like the Gran Turismo 7 VR streams are just, it's gonna be like me raw driving and then get caught up on the chat after the race and then raw driving again. I rewatched some of the stuff and I thought like my head was moving around too much and I almost thought you guys would be nauseous with it. But a couple of you were like, nah, it's great. It's fine. So yeah, if that shit is watchable, I will start to stream it more, but it's not going to be super, it's not going to be very like us hanging out. It's going to be me playing the game and you guys kind of spectating, which, you know, if you're cool with that, I will do it. If not, I will just keep playing all alone here in the dark. Actually, it's not in the dark. It's I turn all the lights on full blast because the cameras on the outside of the goggles track the room a lot better when there's more light in here. So it's kind of funny. Like the basement is like beaming, blasted with light when the VR headset comes out. Matterton says, greetings, CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang. I'm doing nerd shit in the background, but still here listening. Very cool. David Ciotti says, Faint Z, Faintz, was super disappointed with my Hummingbird V3. Came with a cracked canopy and bad VTX. Okay. Didn't even get to fly it, and Newbie Drone told me better luck next time. That does not sound like Newbie Drone. So that was, this is my dad copying and pasting someone else that forgot to tag me. So there it is, Faints. I was super disappointed with my Hummingbird V3. Came with a cracked canopy and a bad VTX. Didn't even get to fly it. Newbie Drone told me better luck next time. I have never heard that from Newbie Drone. I have never once heard Newbie Drone telling somebody to go scratch. I would reach back out to Newbie Drone and say, like, this is unacceptable. Let me talk to a manager. Help me. You can say, I brought this up on CiottiFPV's stream and, 800 people saw it. Please make this right. Newbie Drone has only ever been amazing when it comes to customer service towards me and everybody else that I've ever had kind of come through this live stream. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if maybe you caught a new person or you caught somebody on a bad day, or if there's more to it than what you've typed in your message here. But yeah, if it really did come out of the box like that, yeah, message him again and say, hey, I need to talk to somebody else. I paid good money for this. I expect to be able to use it. This is unacceptable. And if you're still not getting anywhere, come on back and let me know, or message me somewhere, and I can try messaging Newbie Drone. If we go that route though, and Newbie Drone tells me like, oh hey, yeah, what Feints didn't tell you is that he did actually fly it, or he ran it over with his car or something like that. Yeah. So if you're not giving us the whole story, I will find out the whole story when I message them, because I'm friends with a whole bunch of people over there, and they're just going to be honest with me. So, yeah, if you make me go through that, do me a favor and make sure that that there's no weirdness like that. But I am willing to do that if you really can't get anywhere with them. But, like I said, I have never heard that from Newbie Drone. I've only ever heard and personally experienced their customer service being awesome. So I think maybe you got somebody on a weird day, or you got somebody new or something like that. Shoot them another message, see if you can get anywhere, and then I can try. I mean, all I'm going to be able to do is message the main person, Kelvin, that I talk to over there a lot, and say, yo, what's going on with this one dude? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything, but I'm willing to try. So, Kevin Sumner says, Uptilt is adjustable on the Moblite camera by moving the belt forward and backward. It has multiple screw holes for adjustments, if I remember correctly. Very cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Feints, by the way, if you type CiottiFPV, it'll light up an orange like this, and these are the chat messages that I read. The ones where people type CiottiFPV. You can do this with each other. If you want to get Kevin's attention, type in your message Kevin space Sumner, and for Kevin, his name will light up an orange. That's how you get people's attention in these here YouTube playlists. Live streams, rather, not playlists. Adam C says, hello, CiottiFPV, I'm late. Ethan W says, this is the first time I've used folded cell 1S batteries, and they are insane. Yep. So much more power on 30,000 kV. Holy. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned 30,000 kV. The PH 2.0 has a really hard time on these higher power motors. Like, it's really, like, PH 2.0 is not that bad down at like 19,000, even like upwards of 25,000 kV. It's not that bad. BT 2.0 still blows it away, but the difference is not that drastic until you get up to like 30,000, 32,000, now 33 and 36,000. With these higher kV motors, it's just a requirement. You just have to have BT 2.0. There's really no point in putting these higher kV motors on if you're not going to go to BT 2.0 first. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that together. The folded cell batteries, like, there's times where people are like, hey, what about the Speedy Pizza batteries? What about these batteries? What about, and like, I always say, like, look, you got to just trust me on this. Like, it's folded cell or nothing. Like, for real. Like, the difference is so drastic that really, like, if you're not going to fly the folded cell batteries, just not even that, just don't waste your money on any batteries other than the folded cell, because the difference is just massive. Like, it's just absolutely night and day. So yeah, it's not just me, friends. Ethan W and everybody else that has made the switch while they've been on high kV motors, they've all at some point said the same thing. Holy crap. Tyler Walker says, I converted my Mobula 6 to the fractal frame and just purchased the Weebleed Screamers. Will they work with the fractal frame? They will. They will absolutely work with the fractal frame. Next time you're doing an order on Newbie Drone, make sure that you snag a one or two of the Cockroach V3 65mm frames. That is currently the best frame available, in my opinion. The Weebleed Crown frame will be out very soon. This is another fantastic option. And then the OG Meteor 65 frame is also just amazing. The fractal frame is interesting. If you need to have no duct in view, it's one of the only options. Other than that, it's not the best. It's going to add weight. It's going to take thrust away because there's more obstructions on the bottom. You're going to lose some efficiency again because of more things on the bottom in the path of the thrust. So yeah, if you're doing like a cinematic rig, like what this is, it makes some sense because it puts the camera really far forward. But I'm really hoping to find another camera mounting option so that I can put the camera up in the front, but keep it on these plastic frames to save weight, get extra thrust, extra efficiency, and just in general better flight performance. The plastic frames are also a lot more durable as a whole, because these motors have really thin little 1mm motor shafts that are really susceptible to being bent. So when you put those motors onto a rigid carbon fiber frame, it holds the motor solid. And so when you start hitting stuff, all of that energy from each collision is going to try to bend that motor shaft, and it is going to bend that motor shaft. So what you'll see is that when you run a carbon fiber brace or a carbon fiber frame on a tiny whoop, you end up having to replace motors all the time because the motor shafts are constantly being bent. Whereas if you run them in a plastic frame, the motor mount base is like flexible. So when you start smacking into stuff, the motor flexes and the whole frame absorbs the impact, and it really does an incredible job at keeping the motor shafts from not bending. So your motors are going to last like 2, 3, 4, 5 times as long on a plastic frame. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits there to running the plastic frames. But at the moment, I do not have a good way of putting the camera up front for no ducts in view on a rig that I use for cinematic stuff, chasing little RC drift cars. So at the moment, I do have one of these fractals built up, but I am looking forward to getting this build out of this frame and into a plastic frame for, yeah, better kind of sort of everything, to be honest. Better durability, better flight performance, more power, more efficiency, less weight, lots of good stuff there. Riot 9 says, I saw you look at a car, then look at your shifter, and was like, oh, I need this, but maybe enough car nerds are we losing people. Nah, not losing people. I think a massive chunk of the FPV world is also into cars. Yeah, being able to look around in there is like wild. Like somebody coming up and being able to like look over at them, or like you're coming past somebody and being able to like watch them go. It's just mind blowing, man. Like in terms of like, and I've now played a bunch of other VR games. The VR in a driving simulator or a flight simulator, to me, is like the perfect use of VR. VR in like first person shooters, for example, man, is it tough. It's like disorienting, it's weird, like it doesn't work as well. For Christmas I bought myself and the kids No Man's Sky on PS5. They were doing a crazy 50% off discount. And it's really cool when you're in the spaceship flying around, but as soon as you get down onto the surface of the planet, the process of walking around is very awkward. Like, there's 3 different ways you can do it, and like none of them really make all that much sense. Like the one method of just pushing forward on the thumbstick and having your guy just cruise forward, like you have in every other first-person shooter, it makes me nauseous. Like, just me standing up and having the camera just gliding along as if I'm walking, like, my brain is just like, no, what is this fresh hell? So yeah, being like sat down in a seat with the VR headset on is just amazing. So yeah, pretty wild stuff. Crazy time to be alive, man. Tyler Walker with a $5 super chat. Thanks, brother. He says, CiottiFPV, I converted my Mobula 6 to the fractal frame and just purchased... Oh, okay, we got this. Thank you for the donation, Tyler. If you have any other questions, tag me again. We'll talk through them. Fractal build is interesting. It's kind of fun. It's different. If you want something that's different, it's there. Or if you just want no ducks in view, it's the way to go. But other than that, I don't find it to be better than any of the plastic frames, and that's kind of the feedback that I've gotten from sort of everybody that's gone down that road. But it's fun to try, and what is it, like $10? You know, like, why not? Give it a shot. Denzel the Terrible says, you need a co-pilot reading the chat in your ear like Rally Racing. That'd be cool. Faint says, no, it was out of the box, broken, even have pictures of it. Yeah, follow up with them, man. I don't, that's really weird that you had that experience with them. Definitely follow up and say, yo, this is unacceptable. Like, I paid you money for something that works. You need to send me something that works. Period. Very simple. Kevin Sumner says, 661 pointed out that I may have confused the Moblite camera mount with something else. I can probably design something like that, though, maybe even for the fractal frame. I'm trying desperately to get away from the fractal frame, so don't design anything for that. Yeah, there has to be a way to get the camera up front in either the Weebleed crown frame or the OG Meteor 65. These both have basically the same front, though, so the mounting method will pretty much be the same between these two. What I'm really curious about, though, is can something be designed? And Quad 66 and I have already been talking back and forth a little bit about this. He designed a really cool little super low profile mount for his Tiny Whoops. And I'm wondering if that mount style can be adapted. So we've been talking on Facebook Messenger. I actually owe him a reply. But yeah, I'm really interested in if we can do it on the Cockroach 65 frame, because I like this frame the best. And also there is an additional little mounting post down here. Like you can with the Cockroach, the new version Cockroach frames, the 65 and the 75, you can cut the battery tray off. And there's a second AIO mounting location on the bottom of this thing. There's 4 extra posts on the bottom. And I can't help but wonder if the front bottom post, we can use that to loop TPU up over the front of this thing and then just have it hold the camera up here. Everything is kind of rounded off up here, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem. And like the ducts do have like a little bit of an angle like this, which might make the camera want to like push into negative up tilt. So I don't know. This front piece here in the middle, though, this is completely flat. It might even have a little bit of up tilt to it. So I'm wondering if the camera will sit against that, maybe, and give us... I would love 0 up tilt. I love chasing little drift cars with... Oh yeah, it is. It is 0 up. Well, no, it's slightly negative up tilt, but it's almost 0 up tilt, which is kind of fine. And I like that. The little drift cars are very slow, and by having 0 up tilt, I can fly backwards very, very easily, which is super, 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 super fun. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can. I'm hoping that our collective of brains can figure this out, and we can get a camera up front. You know, like the camera's gonna hang out and the lens is gonna be all the way in the front there, but like I'm not crashing hard when I'm chasing those little guys, so I'm not really worried about that. The main thing I'm worried about is that the mount is solid and that the camera's not going to rotate around, not going to wiggle around or anything like that. So yeah, that's something that we're kind of trying to figure out at the moment. We'll get there. I guarantee you by the end of the year we have a gnarly little cinematic setup for these guys, which will be really cool. Yeah. Sit it right up there like that. This is the bigger Walksnail camera too. The light camera is it shorter front to rear, or is it? Yeah, it is. It's significantly shorter front to rear actually. So yeah, this will get tucked like 2 more millimeters back with the light camera. So the lens will still hang out, but it'll hang out like 2 millimeters less. But I don't care, man. The fully plastic frames are just so much better. That yeah, it'll be well worth it. Dehydrated as shit. AJ Farris says, "Can you show me a folded cell 1S?" Yep, it's all these black batteries. This is the Weebleed FPV one. You can also get them as tattoo. They'll always say like folded cell. Tiny Whoop sells them, and there's 2 other websites that sell them. One of them is called Quad Gas. But yeah, the battery itself is black. It's a very square battery. Like you can tell it doesn't have like an ovalness to it. It's almost perfectly rectangular, flat on the top, flat on the bottom. And yeah, the dead giveaway though is that the wrap of the battery is black. V1 hat trick, thanks for the subscription, brother. Where we at here? Where are we at? Faint says, I don't need you to reach out to anyone. I appreciate the offer, though. Where I live, the price to get a new one shipped wouldn't be worth it. Oh, man. It costs $30 to ship it the first time. Fuck, man. I would still push them. Tell them that. Tell them, like, yo. And, I mean, just be like, you know, I don't know. Fuck, man. It's definitely worth reaching out to him again, though. Reach out to him again. Be like, you know, I bought this on CiottiFPV's recommendation. His flew great. I'm super disappointed. I paid $30 for shipping. Like, what is happening? I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. Kevin the Alien says, with these super high power motors, we're starting to get some pretty crazy amp draw. How do these 10 plus amp blips not murder these AIOs? That's a really good question, Kevin the Alien. When you see amp, so the FETs on these Happy Model AIOs are rated for 5 amps each nominal, not nominal, constant, 5 amps constant, and I believe it's 6 amp burst. F4 AIO 5 amp. Let me look it up real quick. Where are the specs? So let's search for burst. Nothing. Okay. Let's try here. And let's search for burst. Nothing. Okay. Let's try one more. Search for burst. Nothing. All right. That's very annoying. Usually, they will tell you. Usually, FETs will be rated. So the FET is the chip that basically manages the power. It takes the raw. This is a gross oversimplification, but it takes the raw battery power in and meters it out to each motor. And so the chips that do that are called FETs, F-E-T. And the FETs are A, what fails. When an ESC fails, the FETs usually blow up. But B, they have a rating. And so their rating will be constant. There'll be a constant amp number and a burst amp number. The constant amp number, I believe, is 5 amp for these boards. And there's 4 of them because there's 4 motors, right? So 20 amps total. Constant. Plug the battery in, run it up to 20 amps, let it sit there for the whole battery. The FETs will survive. They have another rating, which is their burst rating. And the burst rating, it will have an amount of time associated with it. Usually it's like 5 seconds. I've seen as low as 2 seconds on the burst rating. And the burst rating will have a higher amp number. I think I may have seen 6 amps as the burst rating for these 5 amp FETs. It could even be 7 amps. It's usually like on a 25 amp ESC, the burst will be like 30 or 35 to get you some sort of like relation to it. It's, I don't know, 15, 20, 30% higher. And that burst rating is that period of time. So like if the burst rating is 6 amps on this, I'd be able to plug so if the burst rating is 6 amps for 2 seconds, let's say, I would be able to plug the battery in and draw 24 amps for 2 full seconds, and then pull back on the throttle to get the rating down a little bit before the FETs explode. The FETs will usually allow you to spike way higher than that, but like that burst rating really tells the tale of how these FETs work. You can overdraw the shit out of these as long as you don't do that for too long. What kills them, I think, is heat. Makes the most sense with the way that they give us these burst ratings and whatnot. And what you want to keep in mind is that with freestyle flying, we're going full throttle for like a fourth of a second, or like a third of a second, or a half a second. So if we've got like a 6 amp burst rating and it's 6 amps for 2 seconds, if we're only blipping the throttle for a quarter of a second, we can spike the damn thing up to like, I don't know, 10 amps a channel, for like 40 amps total, which these power systems will never be able to handle, right? And the FETs will hang in there. I have run these 5 amp Happy Model super basic F4 AIOs on all the way up to like 27,000 kV 802s with big old 1.6 inch bi-blade props, making enough power to throw the Jungle Gym Basher over like a 50-foot tall tree like it's nothing. And these AIOs just don't care. Like the 5 amp FETs are completely fine. And yeah, it has to do with the fact that with freestyle flying, we're just not laying into the throttle and leaving it there. If you're blowing up AIOs, it could be because you're laying into the throttle and leaving it there. Stop doing that. Or get an AIO with higher rated FETs. But you really shouldn't be just like hammering the throttle and letting it sit. Like you know, freestyle is about, usually it's about cruising. Look, here's what I'll say. If you're laying into the throttle and letting it sit for a long time and you're not racing, you need to build a bigger rig. You need to build a bigger, more efficient rig. That's just like kind of a surefire sign that you're flying something that is too small, too underpowered, and you're asking it to do too much. In my opinion, you could make an argument against that and say things like, well, you know, I'm trying to build the smallest thing possible for the lightest weight and the most efficiency and yada yada yada, and you wouldn't be wrong. But yeah, a couple different ways to kind of fix that problem if you're running into that. All that being said, I've not really heard of anybody blowing up one of these Happy Model 5 amp AIOs from situations like that. Has someone somewhere? Sure. But they're incredibly durable. In the FPV world for the past about 2 years, there has been an arms race. There has been an amp rating arms race with ESCs that is dumb. Very, very, very dumb. Putting a 60 or 65 amp ESC on a 5-inch rig is just the stupidest thing ever. You will never in a million years find a 5-inch power system that can generate 240 amps. And that's the continuous number. That's not even the burst number. The burst rating on those 60 amp ESCs is like 80 amps. You're not going to pull 320 amps for 3 seconds. There's not a battery on Earth that can do that. That you would run on a 5-inch rig. So, yeah, here's my favorite example of this is Ryan Harrell from Mini Quad Test Bench. That is like the website with like the most total information on ESCs, motors, motor testing. It's a crazy website. It's a little bit out of date by now, unfortunately, but the data on there is still totally sound. You're not going to find like a current motor to be able to compare on there, but if you go on there to learn, you're going to learn a lot. Ryan Harrell, to this day, on his 5-inch freestyle rigs with big old 2207s, runs 25 amp ESCs. Because a 25 amp ESC is 100 amps total continuous, and probably closer to 140 amps total burst for 2 or 3 seconds. A good quality 25 amp ESC will outlast a shit quality 60 amp ESC where the shunt resistor blows up because it's a garbage quality one, or it was soldered on really poorly. The long story short with ESCs is that the manufacture of the ESC is much more important than the amp rating of that ESC. ESCs that are manufactured by Acon, regardless if they're 25 amp, if they're 35 amp, if they're 45 amp, they just don't die. I have Acon ESCs on these freestyle rigs that have thousands and thousands and thousands of batteries on them, and like every single one of those batteries has involved at least a half a dozen hard crashes, and they just don't care. They will not die. I have like a bunch of extra Acon ESCs that I've been hoarding because you can't get them anymore, and they're just sitting there, and I feel bad because these won't die. It's like a great problem to have, right? But they're just sitting there getting more and more and more out of date because the ones that are in these rigs are just completely indestructible. T-Motor's more expensive ESCs are manufactured by Acon, so that's another way of getting good quality ones. And I've heard really good things about the Foxy or Reaper ESCs. I suspect maybe those are made by Acon. But yeah, the amp rating of an ESC means practically nothing. The quality of that ESC is really what matters. And unfortunately, with how quickly electronics in the FPV world get introduced and then discontinued, it's really hard to figure out which ones are durable. Typically, by the time we figure out that an ESC is one of the good ones, it gets discontinued and we can't get it anymore. And then the next one that comes out, because of what's been happening with the world's economy, is typically shittier. So it's super frustrating. But yeah, do not fall victim to a high amp number on an ESC. It means absolutely nothing about how durable it's going to be, unless you are just sitting on the throttle. For racers, it's a little bit different because they're just hanging 60-70% throttle and north of that for long periods of time. So those guys and gals can potentially get some value out of like a 40 amp ESC. 60 amp ESC is just dumb, period. It's just stupid. Like, if you've got a Cinelifter with like 8 motors and 10-inch props and like motors that are this big, awesome. 60 amp, 70 amp, 80 amp, I get it. But anything 5-inch, if you're buying an ESC that's more than like 40 amps and you're paying anything extra for those extra amps, you're wasting your money. You would be much better off getting a lower amp ESC from a better manufacturer. So yeah, with the Tiny Whoops, even though we'll see like 10 amps, we'll see 15 amps, we'll see 20 amps, that's just a spike, and they can these Happy Model AIOs can very easily handle that, and away we go. Great question, dude. That does not get talked about nearly enough. Stephen Woodruff says, "Hey, Ciotti, if you what did I miss so far?" Nah, nothing. Jay Gunn says, "Are those 802s 1.5mm shafts?" The 802s that we're going to be flying tonight are not. The highest KV 1.5mm shaft 802 that you can get are the iGao limited edition 27,000 KVs from Tiny Whoop, and they're awesome on 75mm rigs. Unfortunately for me, 27,000 KV is not enough for a 65mm rig, which is fine because 802s, these full-size 802s, are a little bit too heavy for the 65mm rigs. If you're going to run an 802 on a 65mm rig, it should be these EX lighter weight 802s, or as Tiny Whoop calls them, Hex 802s. These are significantly lighter, and they are what you want. Also, the 1.5mm shaft on a lightweight 65mm rig would not give you nearly as much of a benefit as the bigger motor shaft on a 75mm rig that's significantly heavier. The 65s make, as long as you run them on a plastic frame, the 65mm rigs, the 1mm shaft will last a good long time. Biochi, I think that's pronounced, says, what AIO are you using on your 65 Whoop rigs? This is the Happy Model F4 5 amp ELRS. It's their like totally standard, no nonsense, no craziness AIO. When you buy the Mobula 6 ELRS, you get this AIO and you get this canopy and you get this camera. And they are the best AIO camera canopy combo that I've found in forever. So I actually recommend, as the base for your ultimate freestyle tiny whoop, to just buy a Mobula 6 ELRS and then swap the frame, motors, and battery plug, and you've got the best tiny whoop that I've been able to build in, Christ, 8 years of doing this. 661FPV says, you may have missed my comment. You were looking at the Moblite camera mount. Have you seen people make that exact thing with a zip tie? I have. Take a razor blade and slice it down the center. Yeah, I have. I've been tempted to do that, but I typically don't do like the super DIY stuff like that. I would rather do it with an actual TPU mount. But I have seen that. That is super cool. McMucus says, soldered a new pigtail to Happy Model ELRS AIO. Now the green light does not blink and it doesn't bind anymore. I don't see any spilled solder on any ideas. Too much heat. Yeah, I mean, when you put the new pigtail on, one single strand of wire went rogue and connected to another component. So what I would do is undo everything that you've done so far and redo it. And hopefully that will fix it. Sometimes when that happens, though, it'll blow the component up, so it might be game over for it. But yeah, get up in there with magnification and see if you can find a little rogue piece of wire. If that's the case, definitely undo it and redo it. Yeah, unfortunately with these AIOs, like when shit like this happens, you just replace it. Like there's not a lot of troubleshooting. It either works or it doesn't. So that sucks. But Tyler Walker says, seems like the Moblite 6 frame would put the camera up front. It does. It adds a ton of uptilt though. I have a feeling I'm gonna struggle with that. It looks like I'm gonna struggle with that mount getting the uptilt down flat enough for the slow speed flying that I'm looking to do with it. But I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm actually really looking forward to getting a hold of them. 1B674H says, by the way, all of the F4 5 amps are out of stock. Yeah, they are. I couldn't find any the other night. That is one of the other reasons that I recommend you just buy a Mobula 6 ELRS, because they are in stock, and you're going to get the AIO, and you're going to get the camera and the canopy. And if you were to buy those three things separately, it would almost cost you what the Mobula 6 ELRS costs. So, yeah. Bryce Miller says, could you remind me of your recommended prop removal method without the tool? These Azzy props really do break if you look at them wrong. Yeah, they do indeed. It's the Wiha chip lifter. If you just search for Wiha, W-I-H-A, chip lifter on Amazon, you'll find it. But the number on it is 26810. So I'm just going to type it into the chat. Just search this on Amazon. Wiha chip lifter 268 space 10. There you go. In chat is the text that you need to search for, and then you'll get this guy. You slide it under the prop. You're going to put it upside down like this. You would think you would want to do it like this, but it actually works better from down below, and you're going to sneak it in between the prop and the motor, and then it's just going to give you a little bit of leverage. And it's the leverage point is the edge of the bell, so it's using the edge of the bell to create the lever to then pull up on the propeller. And you're not rotating it. You're not trying to spin the motor on the motor shaft on the bell. It works really, really, really well. And yeah, stop running Azzy props. Azzy props will ruin your motors because they fit on there way too tightly, and they're just so fragile that you replace them constantly. It's silly. Veritas Weasel says, Faints, buying a drone and having it arrive defective is always painful. It's just as bad to have to buy from someone who angrily stares upwards into your ball sack. What does that mean? Stares. What? Patterson says 6S1. The fact that we see CiottiFPV turtle whoops over and over without destroying FETs mean they're pretty robust. It's true. And I turtle mode angrily at like full throttle to try to get it over in a hurry. So yeah, the FETs are can take way more abuse than you'd think. Greenhorn says, let's see the damn motor testing already. Okay. Those batteries are still charging. Here we go. Teddy Spaghetti, you ready for your close-up? Everybody's gonna laugh at you. You better not be sleeping already. I'll go wake his ass up if he is. Alright, so first things first. We're not going to test the motors right away. We're going to shame the dog first. That's the most important first step here. I'm going to put the... Well, I'm going to do a little baseline flight with a 0702 32,000 kV rig. Because this whole first battery, I'm just going to go up and fly around Teddy. So let me get a little baseline flight here. This is the AIO that I think is maybe on its way out, as you can see. But weirdly, that clears up as soon as I arm it. This thing is actually needs the pids pulled down ever so slightly. There we go. Come on. Come on. Better. All right, little boy, where are you at? Where is he? Where is he? There he is. There he is. There's the hospital patient, freshly shaved down. Look at him. That face is still adorable. He just looks like a cartoon character now. It's much easier for me to do the power loop him. Look at him. I mean, the sweater is adorable. I must admit. The sweater is absolutely adorable. Look, Maggie knows I'm talking shit. She's trying to make him feel better. That's his Wonder Woman toy. It's his favorite little toy. That's not his favorite little toy. It's just a round toy. Any round toys he loves. Look at him. Does he not look like a different dog? Good Lord. Look at that little hood, though. Look at those little ears. Ooh, he's still adorable. I definitely do love him a little bit less, though. That's a horrible thing to say. 32,000 kV in the house. Here we go. Oh, God. Ah! All right, on to business. Enough dog shaming. Oh, shit. As you can see, 32,000 kV has loads of power. Absolutely nothing wrong with 30 or 32,000 kV motors. But you'll also see in a minute that this new crop of motors from Tiny Whoop is nuts. It's really just, there's no other word for it. It's nuts. I'm not flying well tonight. Let's see if I can kind of get in the groove here, though. Nope. Not in the groove yet. Oh, boy. Nope. Still not in the groove. Oh, God. What is happening? All right. Let's, Ah! Oh, my God. That was a really weird bounce. Really, really, really weird bounce. There we go. There we go. Ah! The mega power loop fail. Oh my God, come on. So this is me just kind of like getting my eye in, getting used to. Man, so these are the Moon Traveler Tiny Whoop motors. These are like the high KV 702s that I've run for the longest amount of time. Even though it doesn't look like it, I'm most used to these. And now we're good. We've shamed the dog. Tyler Walker says, when running these high kV motors, will the stock tune work? And do you need to motor limit or just run 100%? If you've been flying for long enough, you might be able to run them at 100%. It is really difficult, though. It is a lot of power. What I always recommend is that you initially bring them down to like 80%, fly them around a bunch. Eventually, you'll get like used to that much power, and then you can crank them up. The AIO will take it. The stock tune, actually, like the high kV motors really help the stock tune, and the stock tune flies phenomenal on these. Hold on, this transmitter battery is almost completely dead. So yeah, the stock tune is kind of amazing on these 30,000, 32,000 kV motors. I only push it up a little bit. I mean, you're going to see in a minute with these 802 33,000 kV motors, I'm going to probably bring the sliders all the way down to 1.0. So it's going to be on pretty much a stock tune. Ugh. All right, hold up. Let's get another battery for this transmitter real quick here. And we will dive into the Mega KV most powerful tiny whoop motors in the world. Testing. Here we go. Installing a battery, plugging the balance lead in, tucking it into the QX7 battery bay, and there we have it. Get on there. There we go. All right, cool. What the hell was that noise? That was a very strange noise from the kitchen. Veritas says, "Hey bud, turn on your Christmas tree lights." I actually did not put lights on the Christmas tree this year. I just didn't. This is not our main Christmas tree though. The upstairs is the main Christmas tree, and that has lights on it. This is just like a fun little white Christmas tree that I had. I'll put lights on it next year, but yeah, for some reason I just didn't this year. It just, there was not like a string of lights. You know what it was? I didn't have a string of lights with white cables, and I was not going to run green cabled lights on a white cabled tree. That's just stupid. And yeah, I just didn't buy a set of Christmas lights for it. It was weird, but it's okay because it's coming down in a couple of days anyway. I don't know when I'm gonna pull it down. Upstairs tree has already been pulled down. Hey, here we go. Now I need a new goggle battery as well. All the batteries are going dead. Good lord. Tyler Walker says, CiottiFPV, when you run without canopy, to get the camera up front like the fractal frame, I can't turtle mode. Is there a trick? You should be able to. What happened here? Where did the... Oh. Put it in the wrong side. I put the battery into the wrong side of the goggles, and it was as if I'd seen Jesus for a moment. You should still be able to turtle mode. Like, why... What's happening? Are your propellers hitting the ground? I don't have any problem turtle moding. You got to just take a look at what's preventing it from turtle moding. If the propellers are coming in contact with the ground, one of the things you can do is run a true RC singularity antenna so that there's a high point and so that it doesn't sit completely flat on the ground. Or you can try to run taller ducts. But really, I think an antenna like this is going to be your best bet. Also, because you're going to get better video quality with the antenna. So that's one thing that you can do. Or just anything. You can put anything on top just to get it up. If that's the problem, I can't think of another reason why it wouldn't turtle mode other than maybe like like the lower KV motors used to have a problem turtle moding because they wouldn't like grip the ground. it would just sit there and spin around on the ground. That you would need to fix with more powerful motors. That's one of the reasons that they put the spikes on the crown frame, so that if they're upside down like that, the little spikes can dig in to the ground to let it turtle mode back over. Here we go. So that was 702 32 thousandths. Let's go to 702 36 thousandths. That's going to be the, hopefully, the easiest, no, not the easiest thing for you guys to see. It just, I don't know, it just makes the most sense. Let's just do that. I don't know why. That's just what we're going to fly next. These are the Firefly 702 36,000 kV motors. They are awesome, but good lord are they difficult to fly, which you're going to see in a second here. So let's crash a lot. So, watch this. Oh, you jerks. Ah! Hold on, don't watch this. Now watch this. That was just one little tiny throttle blip. My throttle value is on the right side of the screen there. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 28. Ready? Watch how quick I blip 100% throttle, and then watch the throw. Ready? It's like a split second of full throttle, and it just hurls through the heavens. Ready? I'll do it again. And I'm not even letting it fall all the way down to the ground. Hold on. I'll let it fall all the way down this time. It's absolute madness, man. Oh, it fell into the other cube. That was nice. Okay. So. I tried to do a little. That's what I was trying to do. So here's where the pids are at on this build. With these really powerful motors, you do have to bring the pids down under control. And look, this is almost a stock tune, man. 1.2 on the D-gains, stock on PNI. I like low feed forward. D-max, I run that really high because it really crushes propwash. I-gains are down at 0.8. Those are less than stock. Pitch and roll, P, D, and I are up a little bit just because there's more weight on the pitch axis because the battery runs forward and aft. And then look, the master multiplier is 1.0. So you do not, like, when I tell you guys that tuning is kind of dead at this point, this is sort of what I mean. Like, we've got, Jesus, fuck. We've got power systems that can deliver really, really good response time without going bananas on the pid gains, which is great because tuning is feared by many. It shouldn't be. Okay, what the fuck is happening here? So that was actually crash prevention screwing me over. Jesus fucking hell. I can't even get the fucking thing pointed towards anything where I can see the horizon. God damn it! Come on! Get me out of here. Jesus hell. Alright, this is not going to be a good night of flying. I'm just calling it right now. Some nights I just cannot fly to save my life. And it's looking like this is going to be one of those nights. So I apologize in advance for the cursing and screaming and peeing my pants. I have a feeling... Oh, fuck you! Oh! Get out from under there! Thank you. I have a feeling with how crash prevention is performing right now that the accelerometer is jacked up. It's not, though. I just flipped into horizon mode. And it's fine. That's weird. Crash prevention is being really strange right now. Oh my god. Let's get this battery off. This battery's dead. So try to evaluate the motors and not my piss poor ass display of piloting skills tonight. And yeah, these motors make buku power. All the power, all the time. Full mayhem. Let's do another battery through this guy. Maybe I can start to get in the flow. Tyler Walker with a $5 super chat. He says, "Are you always running bi-blades? GemFan, thanks for all your help." Yep. The GemFan bi-blades are just absolute magic. The HQ bi-blades are, in my opinion, unusable because the top of the propeller is closed off, so you can't push the propeller down enough on the motor shaft to keep the motor shafts from bending. So stay far away from the HQ bi-blades. They are worthless. The GemFan bi-blades are just unbelievable, man. The efficiency, the power, and they also make the rig slide around so that when you're zero throttle, you can do stuff like that. Like okay. The tri-blades, like, when you come off the throttle like this, they just don't float in the same way. And they're much more of like a racing prop where you want that grip. For freestyle tiny whooping, everybody that I've turned on to the bi-blades has absolutely loved them. And I've tried so many. I've tried all of the. Oh, god damn you! I've tried all of the tri-blades, and they're just not. They just don't. Yeah, I don't know. They don't connect with my brain, or they just don't really vibe. But the other thing is, like, the 702s are a motor that's, you could almost say they're kind of optimized for the bi-blades, in that, like, they're a very lightweight motor. Wow. Yeah, crash prevention is being really weird right now. It's almost like it's turned off. If it's not turned off, it ain't working right. That was not a crash prevention crash there just now. There was nothing it was going to do about that. But there will be another. Crash prevention will trigger at some point here, and I'll tell you when it does. Oh, fuck you. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Yes. So, oh my god, it just stopped. It hit this second one and just absolutely stopped. There we go. I can do some things sometimes. Did it go in? It went in. Shame I couldn't get it out cleanly. These... so the 702 36,000 still have good throttle resolution here. Admittedly, I am using a bunch of throttle expo, but I've had to use throttle expo ever since these high kV 702s hit like 30,000 kV. The way that the power ramps in is like really violent, and the throttle expo is just kind of putting a band-aid on that. There's nothing wrong with running it. You're spending most of your time at like 30 to 40% throttle anyway. Like, for example, right? I'm going to fly around, and just so keep your eye off on the right side of the screen is the throttle value. 0, 100. Right? 0, 100, 0, 100, 0, 100. Think I'm going to fly for like 10 seconds. Look at how often that throttle value is in that 30% range. And I'm going to do big stuff. Well, I guess I'm done now, but hopefully you just saw what I was talking about. We fly around 90+% of the time between 30 and 40% throttle. So if you turn on throttle expo and you dial it in to that range, 35% throttle, and then a little bit up and down, this is how the curve works. 90 to 95% of the time that you're flying, you're going to benefit from the softness that you're getting from Throttle Expo, and that's why Throttle Expo is like so good. Where Throttle Expo can get you is when you go fly a different spot. If you dial in your Throttle Expo for your basement, you're going to fly around your basement at 30 to 40% throttle all the time, probably, because it's small and there's tight and there's a bunch of stuff going on. If I then take this rig to a warehouse, I'm going to be cruising around at like 40 to 50% throttle, or maybe even 50 to 60% throttle, because everything is so much bigger and I'm just going to want to carry more speed. So when you change locations with the rig, you want to change that Throttle Expo midpoint to suit. I mean, the easiest thing to do is just to fly a battery and just have your throttle value, like mine, in your OSD. Fly a battery and just keep looking over at it. When you're cruising around in whatever the location that you're at in, just keep looking at that throttle, and you're going to see it's usually at so-and-so percentage, and that'll give you your idea of what your cruising throttle is, and then you can change that midpoint to match that. And then when you get home, you're going to have to change it back. But once you start using Throttle Expo, you'll understand that. And boy, oh boy, will you feel the difference that Throttle Expo makes. You'll also feel the difference when you get the midpoint wrong. If you have the Throttle Expo midpoint wrong, it will be worse than no Throttle Expo at all. Because the midpoint, I got to do this the other way for you guys. So the curve is like this. No Throttle Expo is linear. When you put Throttle Expo on, it's going to put a curve like this. And the vertical, the flattened out part of the curve, so it's going to come off, it's going to roll out, it's going to have a flat spot where your midpoint is, and then it's going to roll back down into the zero. That flat part is where you're getting all this extra resolution. And so if that flat part is too high or too low, your cruising throttle is going to be at the more vertical parts connected to the flat part, and you're going to literally feel worse. It's going to feel significantly worse. So spend some time getting your throttle midpoint absolutely dialed in, and you'll really feel the difference. And then if you go fly somewhere bigger, or you just say, hey, on this battery I'm going to fly faster, you'll be able to feel it not being right. And then when you get it right, it makes such a difference, especially if you're running more Throttle Expo. I run either 40 or 50 Throttle Expo on damn near everything Tiny Whoop related at this point, which is a lot. The maximum you can run is 100. At 40, it's like, it's night and day. Turning it off, turning it on, getting the midpoint right, getting the midpoint wrong. So Throttle Expo takes a little bit of experimentation, but it is absolute magic when you get it nailed down. And if you start messing around with it, you'll start to understand what it's doing, and you'll know how to dial it in. It's just kind of one of those things. You got to do it to really get it. Well worth the effort, though. And you can adjust it in the OSD. You can land, change it, fly for 15 seconds, land, change it again, fly for 15 seconds, land, change it again. I'll show you where to get to it. We'll do one more battery on this, and then we'll move over to the unruly 33,000 kV rig. Fly a couple batteries on that, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's move over to that rig now. It's 9:50 already. It's getting late. So this is now the same exact build, but the motors are 802EX, the lightweight 802s, 33,000 kV. It is on bi-blades, so same propellers, heavier motor, less kV. Should make less power, right? Watch this. So the first thing that's going to happen, though, is that it's going to vibrate to the moon. Ready? Arm it. Give it any amount of throttle. Now it's 0 throttle. See the throttle value on the right side of the screen? Watch it again. Watch the throttle value on the right. See it 0? Shouldn't be doing that. These motors are very powerful. The pids are aggressive right now. Well, they're not that aggressive, but they're too aggressive. So we're going to back these pids off. The PI and D are the main ones. Let me add a bunch of DMAX in. Oh wow, the pitch and roll are not turned up. I'll be damned. And the master multiplier is at 1.0. That I might not have removed enough. Let's see. Yeah, still haven't removed enough. So we are actually going to go almost below a stock tune. Let's bring this all the way down. And let's see if that was enough. Yep. Now we're good. It's right on the edge now. But now watch this. You would think that below the stock tune, we would... Whoa, that was a little desync wobble thing. You would think that the tune would now not be able to handle prop wash, but... I mean, there is a little shudder of prop wash there. But it ain't bad. You would not think that this is at 80% of the stock tune values. It's just that these motors are really, really powerful and really, really responsive. And they are able to and that's what the error correction loves, is a responsive setup. So I'm going to do that same throw test. Quick little blip of full throttle. Ready? Almost as much power, isn't it? Let's do it again. It hit the goddamn ceiling. I think I held full throttle for a split second longer there on that one, though. Let me try it one more time. And this battery is sagging down already because of all that runaway that it was doing. That really is hard on the battery, but... So, see that? Still just tons of power. So, how is it... I'm just going to fly the rest of this battery. How is it that a 33,000 kV motor that's heavier on the same propellers in the same build... Fuck. How is this... Oh my god. Oh my god. Where the fuck am I? What is happening right now? Well, it's obviously not recoverable. How is it that... yes, I am using actual rates, Tyler, and so should you. Actual rates are the best. How is it that a motor that is heavier with less kV is making the same power? Any takers? Look at this mess that I made over here. Jesus. Thankfully nothing broke. There we go. All better. Who knows the answer? I've talked about it before, but put it in the chat, yo. Here we go. Drink, someone says. Here we go! Mirror flip. That was a weak mirror flip. So was that. That was a weak one too. Hold on. Let's get a good one. Oh, that one was pretty good. I went a little bit too high though. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, nope. The answer to the question is that like if I was running this on tri-blades, you'd be like, oh yeah, the bigger motor is able to crank the tri-blades harder and make the extra power to make up for the extra weight and all that good stuff. The first thing that you want to remember though is that motor weight is a very small percentage of the total. Well, actually, that is less true on a tiny whoop. Well, no, actually, not true. On a tiny whoop, definitely with bigger rigs, but on tiny whoops for sure, the motor weight increase from running a bigger motor pales in comparison to the amount of extra thrust that you get, right? So you add, in this case, you add like 2 grams of extra motor weight, but then you make like 20 more grams of thrust, right? So it like grossly offsets the extra thrust that you get, offsets the extra weight of the motors, typically. So the raw power to weight ratio is usually kind of unchanged, or sometimes even better with the bigger motors. But these motors are a lower kV, significantly lower, right? 33,000 versus 36,000. And basically what's going on is that the 702 stator size is kind of too small for 36,000 kV. And it's not able to crank these propellers all the way up to like the maximum amount of RPM that the kV will allow the motor to achieve. That is normal. Like there are the kV of the motors is tested with no propellers on whatsoever. As soon as you put a propeller on, that motor will never get to that full RPM that it did with no propeller, right? So that is always true. But most motors will get, I don't know the actual number, but let's just say 90% of the way there. Let's say like a normal motor with a normal amount of kV will get to like 90% of the RPM that it can get to without the prop on. These 702 36,000s, I'll bet you they're only getting to like 70% of that kV. What you want to understand about kV is as the kV goes up, the amount of resistance, electrical resistance in the motor is going down. That's just how they get the higher kVs. They wind the motor differently so that it has less resistance. So even though these 702s aren't getting anywhere near that 36,000 kV number, they're still making more power than the 32,000 kV motors or the 30,000 kV motors, right? And so now we go over to the 802 33,000 kVs. Since this is an 802 stator, it's got more grunt, it's got more power, and so it can take a 33,000 kV motor and spin it up high, like to a higher percentage. So I'm willing to bet that the actual RPM, we can test this. We can test this right now. Watch this. This is going to be super cool. This is going to completely explain why. I'm going to use the same battery, and I'm just like super quick going to spin I'm going to spin 2 motors up just so that we get a little bit of a bigger sample size. We're going to start with the 702 36,000 kV rig. This is not a perfect test because this is a loaded test. I'm going to be holding the quad. And that is not what happens in the air. In the air, you go full throttle and it starts to accelerate. And as soon as it starts to accelerate, there's a bunch of incoming air. And that makes it the motor's job a lot easier. So this is going to be a drastic example of the issue with and the relationship of kV to motor size. We did just test this the other day, but I think we tested it like in the middle of the 12-hour stream, which is going to be hard to find. So real quick, we're going to do this test, and I just want you to look at the RPM number being reported back from the ESC, which is apparently very accurate. So in here, it's this top value, R. Keep an eye on this number. These are the 36,000 kV motors. I'm going to just blast it real quick. I don't want to kill the battery. 66,000 is the number that I saw. Now we're going to look at motor 2, if this fucking pop-up will get out of the way. Ready? Look right here. Jesus, that wound up to 70. Let's try all 4 motors. Motor 3, 64,000. Motor 4, 65,000. So that's the 702 36,000 kV motors. Now we're going to test the EX802 33,000 kV motors. You would expect to see a much lower RPM, right? The kV is much lower. Here we go. Same AIO, same propellers, same everything. Ready? Watch this. 70. 70. 65. 65. There you go. The bigger motor is able to... So again, that's a loaded test. In the air, the motors don't have to work as hard. So that will not be as drastic once it's up in the air. Once it's up in the air, it actually benefits the 702s because you've got that incoming air. On a loaded thrust test like this, the bigger stator volume really helps because it has all this extra work to do. It's that static air that it has to pull down and pull in, and that static air is not going anywhere. So yeah, that's exactly why the bigger, heavier, lower KV 802 is making pretty much the same amount of power as these 702s. Let's put another fresh battery through here, and then we're gonna wrap this stream up. These big marathon streams are hard. It's a lot to ask for people to watch my big dumb face for more than 2 hours. But yeah, there you go. That's what's going on there. Zach says, do you modify the canopy in any way to fit over those TrueRC VTX antennas? Nope. As long as you get the TrueRC Ultra Short, it'll fit right under there. You got to put like a little kink in the wire. You'll see what I mean. If you're looking at the Whoop like this, top to bottom, you plug it in here. You're gonna run the wire like that, and then you're gonna put a little 90-degree turn in it, just to shorten the wire up ever so slightly. You'll see though. There's only one way to get it to fit under the canopy. It fits right under there. It's no big deal. Here we go. More 802 33,000 kV lovin'. I'm gonna do that throw across the room test first here. Why does this camera look so bad? So with a fully charged battery, I'm going to do that quick throttle blip test. Ready? That we did with the 702s. Quick as I can go full throttle. Yikes. So I think I'm starting to be able to tell that there is a little bit less power with these. Still great power, but let's do it again. Oh God, I held the throttle on too much. It's hard to do this. I mean, there's a little bit too much variance here, but still gobs a throw. Yeah, a little bit less throw. Once it's up in the air, the 702 and the 702s have that incoming air. They're gonna have a little bit of an advantage here. Oh, really? You're gonna bounce off the floor up into the tree? Hey, look at that. It nipped that gate. That was wild. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of figure out the difference between these two motors. The long and short of it is, if you've got a big spot to fly, the 802 33,000s are the jam. If you've got a small spot like this, like I'm in right now to fly, the 702s are probably a better bet. Just from a standpoint of, like, the 702s are a little bit lighter, and you're really going to be sort of limited to biblades with the 702s. I could put tri-blades on these 802s, and they would be completely fine. Just because the 802 stator has that much more grunt. You would probably not want to run these at full 33,000 kV with tri-blades. You'd try it. Oh, Jesus. This is not a good flying night for me. Oh! That was an interesting crash. I don't think I've ever crashed up there before. There we go. Oh my God! Ah! What's the, you know what? I have this AIO set up from a throttle expo standpoint for 702s. What am I cruising around at with these? 33, 35, 36. 36. Let me check the throttle expo here. So here's how you set throttle expo in the menu. Come up here to profile, and you go down to rates. It's weird that it's in rates, but you can either scroll down one by one to the bottom, or you can go up, and it'll bring you to the bottom here. And so I have a value of 40. That's the amount of throttle expo. But this throttle midpoint, this is the important number. And it's a little bit too high. So let's bring it down to 35. That's going to make this thing a little bit better. So that's the midpoint. You want to set that midpoint. Oh, that feels better immediately. You want to set that midpoint to whatever your normal cruising throttle number is. So see, oh my god, that's why you want to have that throttle OSD element on. 35, 36, see that? At like my normal cruising speed, that's what the my throttle is. So that's where you want that midpoint to kind of be. This battery's shot. Still getting over 3 minutes of runtime with these bigger 802 motors. That's really impressive. This battery's done. Let's do one more. I'm horrified by how I'm flying tonight. Rite9 says, can you explain how to throttle limit? Quick view of this or that. Folks want to know. There's a field in the PIDs tab of Betaflight called throttle limiting. I don't think... No. You can also do it in the OSD. I'll show you how to do everything in the OSD. In Betaflight, it's under the PID tab. It's called motor limiting. The default is 100 for 100%. In the OSD here, it is under miscellaneous PP, I believe. Yep, there it is. Motor out limit. It's at 100%. So there's how you set it in your OSD. Quick little time saver in your OSD. When you're anywhere in the OSD, if you take your throttle stick and you yaw to the right, it will bring you directly to the save exit menu, and then you can save and exit real quick to save your changes. This way you don't have to back out through the menu. Oh my god, why? Hold on. Let's just real quick. Last battery of the live stream. Let me see if I can get any sort of flow on. What is this? Yeah, this will work. Alright, let's see. Let's see if I can fly less like a buffoon real quick. Not off to a good start. Oh my god, why? Oh my god, why? It was worth a shot. All we can do is try. Jesus! Missed it. Ah! Ah! Yeah, this ain't my night. Oh, come on, man. What the hell? Oh, I'm gonna have to go get it. Oh! You! Oh my god, I made it out! The battery's dead. Fuck you! Why are you doing this to me? There we go. There's a little something something. Ah! Oh my god. Wow! Not my night, man. Not my night. I haven't done that in a while. That was fun. Oh my fucking god, really? I can't even just throw it up into a gate? Yeah. Not... Oh, everything. Every single thing! I will say this. It is, it's harder to fly the 0802 rig because it's heavier. That is just the way that it's going to be, and I think we're kind of seeing that a little bit. What makes it worse is that I'm not used to the weight of the 802 rig. I'm used to these 702 rigs. These are what I fly 90% of batteries on. Let me give you an idea of the difference in weight. It's not that different, but any small changes do really matter. Is this battery done? Yeah, this battery's done. So the 702 rig is 19.3 grams. The 802 rig is 20, right on the nose. So less than a gram difference, but you got to think of that in percentage terms. At 20 grams, if you add 1 gram, that's a 5% change. So with like a 5-inch rig, that's the equivalent of adding 5% of 600, 5, 10, 30 grams. A 30-gram heavier battery on a 5-inch rig, you're absolutely going to feel the difference there. So that's one of the things that's kind of happening here. I guess I maybe should have flown the 802 rig first, but I mean, whatever. So yeah, sorry for the piss poor flying tonight, but I don't know. Some days I just don't have it. And this is one of those days, but it'll be better next time. Friday night we'll be flying a little bit better, maybe. Kevin the Alien says this has been a pretty informative live stream. Thank you, dude. I try to have them all be like that. Some of them are just more me screaming, but Rite9 says not your best edit. Thanks. Rite9 also said, can you explain how to throttle limit? Got you there. Nick Buca says, don't forget the shrimp wrap for the True RC antenna. Putting them in the canopy, it's actually less important, but yeah, it is a good idea to. I've done it a bunch of times. Just go to my channel and search for antenna prep, and you'll see what I mean. For anybody that doesn't know what that means. Tyler Walker says, do you think the GNB 2.0 is as good as the BT 2.0? I'm not. What's GNB 2.0? Is that the older one? The older, bigger one? No, that was GNB 27. So GNB has 2 connectors. They have the GNB 27. Stay away from that one. It's kind of dead. They've also got the A30. The A30 connector is on here, and it's just a clone of the BT 2.0 with a little slot of plastic added in so that they don't get sued. That's all. It's other than that, though, it's the same thing. So, yeah. They are interchangeable. Brad Mondin says, ever thought about a roof cam? I think it would be cool to see it fly around. That's an interesting idea. I do already have like OBS completely maxed out on the number of cameras that I've got. So yeah, it would be nigh on impossible to add another one. What I could do is take this bench zoom cam and try to put it somewhere. But it's hard, man. The in order to capture the amount of distance that like I'm flying all around the room, so you gotta have a really wide angle, and then the tiny whoop just becomes like minuscule. So like you'll see it for a split second, and then it's just gone, and then it comes back for a split second, and it's gone. So it's hard to get third person views of tiny whoops without having your cameras on a neck that can like turn around and whatnot. And I think, nope, not quite caught up. Matt Norton says, with lower kV, do I need to raise my pids to rid the prop wash? I have 11,000 kV stock motors, and I get big prop wash and throttle blips. You can try that, but the only real way to get rid of it is to put more powerful motors on. Cranking the PID sky high is going to help a little bit, but yeah, there's not a whole hell of a lot that you can do. Basically just keep cranking the PIDs up more and more and more until the damn thing wants to fly away when you touch the throttle after you've armed it, and then back them off a little bit, and that's as good as it's going to get. But yeah, if the PIDs will improve that situation by maybe 10%. The other 90% is getting a powertrain that can more adequately do the job. Danzilla says heat saturation. That was a good guess. McMucus says, is it stator volume? That's a good guess as well. We talked through it. Last comment of the live stream. Wait, no, there's a couple. Steve Woodruff says, because you haven't been keeping up with your 6 packs a day. Could be. Right 9 says, love you anyways. Brad Bondon says, you missed my earlier comment. I think I just got it. OMFPV says, where do I look for your mailing address? Just message me. I don't have it anywhere publicly. Just shoot me a message and I'll send it to you. Steady Eddie says, what do you use in OBS to zoom in on your screen? Is it a plugin? No, it's just an Apple thing. On all Mac computers, you hold Command, Option, and Plus, and it just does this. It's what it actually is an accessibility feature for people that are partially blind. Apple has tons of accessibility. Look in your phone too. Your phone has a whole menu of accessibility stuff. Some of it's kind of cool. One of the ones I used to have on for a long time is it will flash your flashlight when you get phone calls, which really, if you're like, if you've got like a relative in the hospital or something like that, turn that shit on in accessibility, and it's like blindingly obvious when you get a text or a phone call. It just blinks super bright. Apple has always had great accessibility stuff. And yeah, Command, Option, Plus, and Minus is their accessibility zoom feature. That's just really quick. Off Axis says, just film it with a DJI Spark Turner Mavic Mini. Brad Mondin says, camera on an antenna tracker. That's really what I would need to do. And then Brad also says, good night, we love you. Thank you, brother. Be good, friends. Thanks for hanging. If I missed anything, I'll be back Friday at 7 o'clock, or just shoot me a message anywhere. I'm always down to troubleshoot with you guys. Every once in a while, though, in fairness, I will say, like, hey, this is a really good question. Can you please come to a live stream and ask it so that everybody can get the benefit of the answer? That's not me being a jerk. It's just, you've asked a good enough question that I want everybody to kind of be able to see it. So good job on that. Love you guys. Be good. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Go to www.CiottiFPV.com to support me. I'm completely crowdfunded. You guys are the reason that this show exists. Keep it up, and we'll keep doing it forevers. Love you guys. Bye-bye! I'm not ready. Hey, by the way, the flight footage from the beginning of the live stream and what I'm about to give you now is from the Tiny Lifters chasing the drift cars. Big, fat, heavy rig, but really good quality Insta360 Go 2 camera with horizon leveling. Really cool platform to film those little guys with. Really hard to like stay close to them, but a different perspective and having that horizon be level is just super cool. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a little bit more of that on the way out here. Thanks for hanging, friends. Be good. I will see you on Friday. See ya.